Hello there, this is FallingRSoldier here with another video. Here I'd like to talk about, well, something that's a huge theme of my channel. If you haven't noticed, I'm the FallingRSoldier. These are the biggest things I'd like to see changed in Team Fortress 2. 3 categories, 3 things in each category. Now, let me just say this. By far do I not think TF2 is a bad game, and needs these improvements. These are just improvements I would like to see done. If the game stopped updating now, I'd still play it. Like, if they did not improve anything, still, I would play. I love Team Fortress 2. It's my favorite first-person shooter. It's the only one I play anymore. I used to play a lot of Halo 3 when it first came out. I lost touch with the Halo franchise. I stopped playing Call of Duty after Modern Warfare 2. Battlefield I never really got around to playing, but I'm gonna see if I like 3. Now, on to TF2. What would make this, in my opinion, even better of a shooter that would draw me in even more over the other games? Other games. Okay. First is weapons. I'd like to see more creative weapons. This is something, a lot of people have talked about. I just watched a video where somebody pointed something out about it. I would like to see more weapons that are just completely different from what we have right now. We saw this with the Huntsman and with the Demo Knight. You completely reworked a class. Now, this does have balance issues, but I'd still like to see this done. I'd like to see Valve put a little more work into TF2 than they do right now, because I think they give it a little too little love. So, what do I mean by more creative weapons? I mean, the biggest suggestion's been a boomerang for the sniper. But other than that, why can't you have a pistol on the medic? Why can't you have just crazy things? Like, maybe with the heavy, you could get a sickle that you could throw, like the flying guillotine. Like a hammer and a sickle. So you hit the first one, and it causes bleed damage. You throw the sickle. But if you can hit them with the hammer, it'll mini-crit. Would that not be the best thing? It'd be incredibly hard to skill shot, but it would be the best thing. A hammer-sickle combo for the heavy. Maybe make it a melee weapon. And once you've thrown them, you lose your melee. But once you've thrown one, your melee does half damage. Once you've thrown the other one, you can't melee until it recharges. That's the kind of thing I want to see done. And very honestly, I don't see weapons like this coming out. I see, like, the Rescue Ranger, it's a shotgun. It's another shotgun. Sure, it has a gimmick, but it's not a completely different weapon. It still uses the same animations as the normal shotgun. Come on, Valve. You can be more creative than you're being right now. You can do it. We all know it. We all know when you did the Demo Knight, you did the Huntsman. I want to see more of this. Now I want to see more weapons in slots that generally don't have new weapons coming out. I haven't seen a new melee weapon in forever. What came out? I think the Neon Annihilator came out a little while ago. Nobody likes the Neon Annihilator. Why don't you actually put out a cool melee weapon? A cool melee weapon, brand new. It's like, maybe you put out one for every class in the next update. Like, the one for the heavy I was just talking about. Yes. Is there another pistol for the engineer? Honest to God. When was the last time you saw a pistol for the engineer that wasn't the default? If you said never, then you're correct, because the engineer doesn't have another pistol. Even the Scout has the Winger, and, what's it, the Bayface's blaster? No. He has another pistol. Oh, Pretty Boy's pocket pistol. There we go. I never use it. I don't remember his name. I'd like to see more unconventional weapons, or not unconventional, but more weapons in slots where you generally don't see weapons, especially melee. You never see melee weapons coming out. More classic weapons. And what I mean by classic weapons is the TF2, it has an art style that's kind of centered in, maybe the 30s, 40s. A lot of the weapons you see are generally, maybe 50s, generally, but most of the weapons you see, like in the original, aren't very modern. And so that when they bring out things like the Hitman's Heatmaker, which look very modern, it's just not. It doesn't tie in with the art style they've already established. I'd like to see a Mauser or a Luger. Like, they have a Luger, but like an actual Luger that has an effect, not just an aesthetic change. Like a Mauser C96 or a Tokarev. Why not? Yeah, why can't the sniper have Thompson submachine gun or something like that? Something that really fits the art style. Well, that's enough for weapons. We're going to move on to Man vs. Machine now. And this is going to be pretty quick. I'd like to see more maps. And by more maps, I don't mean more Big Rocks. Big Rock is terrible, in my opinion. I don't like the way it flows. I think it was terribly designed. I think that they rushed it. I think that they didn't think it through. They just made something that looked cool, figured people would like it. And no, it's absolute bullcrap. Making a map that large didn't work for a game mode like Man vs. Machine. Because you can't run around that fast. And once your engineer goes down, you're fucked. And then sometimes, just generally because of the way Man vs. Machine works, they slowly advance forward. So your teleporter will eventually teleport you. You'll come out of the teleporter and be surrounded and immediately get shot with 15 rockets. It's ridiculous. They need to get rid of that. Big Rock is terrible. It doesn't work. You design the map around the gameplay, not the gameplay around the map. Just don't. Just don't. If I see more maps, I want to see more well-designed ones that cause the robots to flow in creative ways instead of shit-brained all over the place. They could really take some cues from Orcs Must Die and Orcs Must Die 2, really, in designing their maps. Next, I want map interactivity. What do I mean by this? Maybe there's a sawmill map, and there's a big pile of logs on a log cutting machine, and if you shoot the little metal hooks that are holding in the logs, they come and they kill all the robots. But the machine takes time to make more logs to put into it. So if you shoot it right away, only one comes down and does diddly shit. But if you wait 2 minutes, it's gonna like take out a quarter of a giant's health. That would be amazing. Things like that. Things where you can just actually interact with the map. Maybe a catapult that flings you to the front line, but makes you take damage. Like just the fall damage from it. That would be amazing. I want to be able to see you interact with the map a lot more instead of than just running on it. Because right now, the maps could have absolutely no textures and absolutely no props, and you just walk around and it would be the same fucking thing. If you just broke it down to the base, everything, there's nothing in them that does anything. Aesthetic differences is my final thing. Why are the robots blue and you red? I can understand from a designer's viewpoint why they might want to do this. They're like, well, you need to be able to tell the difference between your teammates and your enemies. And yes, that's a very valid point. But in the trailer, you can clearly see that the red and the blue companies team up against the robots. All these posters for Man vs. Machine, you see reds and blues fighting next to each other against the robots. I loved that. I loved the idea of having reds and blues working together. It was amazing. I loved that. Why didn't you do that? Why did you not do that? Why didn't you make the robots a completely different color? Here's what I propose. Alternate colors of players joining. So the first player that joins is red. The second one that joins is blue. So that way you have 3 red people and 3 blue people if you have a full server. There you go. And you're like, well, what color would the robots be? You could make them pure silver. You could make them black. You could make them gold. I don't care. Just not red or blue. They could be green. Green would work, like neon green. That would work. Green. And you would never mistake them for your allies, ever, if they're bright green. It's so simple. You might say, well, you know, if they're bright green, they'll be easier to spot. They're blue, and most of the maps have a very warm color palette. You can see them anyways. They're already sticking out. It's like putting a blue dot in a desert, or not a blue dot, but like a big blue minivan in a desert. You can fucking see them. Finally, core differences. This is going to be very short because I feel the core gameplay is almost perfect. Improve the official servers and matchmaking. I'm sorry, your matchmaking is terrible. So many times I get put into a server with no people in it. It's like, you're now going to a payload map, and it's like loading. I take 2 minutes to load because I'm from Canada, and anyone in Canada who loads Team Fortress 2 takes a million years to fucking load in. Or at least people from my province. I load in, finally, no fucking people in the server. So I try again. It puts me in the same server with like one other guy who loaded in accidentally because he was put into one person's or to a server where only like 2 fucking people can exist. Same with man versus machine. It takes forever to get into a game. Fuck you, Valve. Fuck you. Finally, I'd like to see, or not finally, but more things. I'd like to see more maps for the new game modes. You put out new game modes. You get to the Australian to the Rocket. There's only one map. Come on, Valve. As far as I've seen, I have never seen another map that wasn't community made. Make more maps. I'm sorry. You put out these new game modes, and then you give them one map, and you leave them alone forever. Actually do something with it. You look at how many, like, I don't know, capture the flag maps there are, or I don't really play capture the flag, but payload. You've got Upward. You've got Thunder Mountain. It's not hard. Just make it. And finally, improve crates. I'm sorry. There's only 5 items that could potentially be in a crate or something like that. I think it's 6. Like 3 potential weapons, 2 potential strange parts, and 1 potential hat. Here's what you do. Take out strange parts. People don't like strange parts. I've talked to many people. You said you want a strange part, and they say, fuck you, I don't like strange parts. They are shitty, nobody likes them. Get rid of them. Nobody wants them. If anything, make it so you can buy them in the store for 25 cents. And then the people who actually do want them can pay 25 cents, and you'll make a buck off of it. What do I suggest you put in there instead? Paints and another hat. Make it easier to get hats from crates and give you an opportunity to get a paint from a crate. There you go. Also, more variety of weapons. I don't want to see only like 3 weapons in a crate. I like to see like 5. So you have like, there's 5 chances in a crate, or like a 5 out of 8 chance of getting a weapon, a 2 out of 8 chance of getting a hat, and a 1 out of 8 chance of getting paint, or an item tag, or an item description tag, or an item name tag. There you go. That's all you need to do. Well, that concludes my opinions on what should be added to TF2, or what should be taken out. But I hope you enjoyed this video. This is the first real video going up on this channel. I would like to let you know this is not going to be a mere TF2 channel. This is probably going to be, or it's definitely going to be expanding into other games, especially console games, as I'm a huge fan of Nintendo and Sony. Your Xbox is bad. I don't actually care what you have to say. I don't personally like the library on the Xbox. It's your opinion if you want to play Xbox. I'm not going to stop you. I'm not going to tell you the Xbox is bad. I personally just don't like a lot of games on the Xbox. So you're probably going to be seeing a lot of Sony and Nintendo games from me. If you're expecting to see Call of Duty or Halo, you're out of luck. I generally don't play those. Well, that concludes this. I hope you have a great day, and thank you for watching, my wonderful, wonderful audience.